And I really respect this generous selfishness that you've taught me in this conversation and outside of this conversation, that you really, you should never be apologetic for looking after yourself, because it only means you can look after other people even better.
Yeah, for sure. You got to look after yourself, especially I tell my students, you only have one body. You better eat something nice and drink water and have good sleep. Look after yourself first, and then you have the capacity and the space to give to others.
Hi Xin, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm so good. I'm so glad to like finally be talking with you, because we have kind of roamed the industry. Because when did you graduate at Unitec?
I graduated back in 2014, and you were a year after.
2 years.
2 years after me.
You're my tuakana. And it's been wonderful. And the reason I wanted to chat with you before this was because I've always just admired you from afar. And I've always, like, you know, tautoko you and all the mahi and watched you go from like height to height to height, that I was like, I've never had a one-on-one opportunity to, one, just tell you that, but two, to like pick your brain of like how you've done it. And I think it would be good to like relive for this kōrero. My question for you was, how have you managed to flow through this industry with such ease, where I've seen you just attract opportunities and attract the best works that you've also gifted the industry? Like, how have you maintained that sense of ease and flow?
Well, such a good question, and particularly right now, right, when the environment, it's so hard for artists, or for any kind of artist to survive. And to answer the question, I have to talk about, you know, where I got myself into this industry. And I think I briefly mentioned that to you before. I started in such young age, and I was born and raised in China. In the way in China, how people operate, because due to the huge population, when you want thrive, when you want be really good at the one type of craft in the system, how you start, you know, getting yourself into the craft is very different. I went to full-time dance training school when I was 11, and I did Chinese Classical Ballet for hardcore training, 5 years, all day, every day.
And that's all you did?
From the morning, that's all I did.
No maths, no algebra, no...
Well, there's a type of, you know, a bit of a study on the side, but then, you know, those are studies in no math. It's like we studied some sort of like equivalent to English, like grammar, you know, literature and things. But those classes are for us to rest, to be able to dance.
That was your form of resting?
Yeah, I remember there's one particular class that happened in the afternoon, and I just remember watching, you know, because it's a mixed gender class, and the girls and the boys, and I would just seeing the girls right in front of me and knock her head on the wooden desk because she was so sleepy, because she was training. Like, all training is crazy. You start 6:30 and all the way to 9 p.m.
Wait, hang on.
Yeah, because the class, let me run through. So 6:30 we wake up. The first class is between 7 and 8. So we call it a flexibility warm-up session, and you go off and have a breakfast, and then the first technique class start 9. So that's hour and a half. You have a 15 minutes break, and you start second technique classes. Either there was a folk dance or gymnastic training tricks, and then you have a lunch break. And after that, it's either you're working on your collab, you're working on the production, and if you're really good, you get solo duet. If you're, you know, kind of abandoned and ordinary dancers, and you get to work on the group works. So everyone's fighting for the spot, you know, to get the chosen one. And then you have a dinner, and after dinner, you go back to your self-directed study time. So basically, our day life is 6:30 to 9 p.m. all day, every day. And in between, you have one of those, you know, the soft sitting in the lecture room study, and that's our time to recover and pick up your energy again, then ready for next technique classes, dance classes. So I did that for 5 years. I think the mentality from the early on got myself into that because when I was the age of 8, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I told my parents I want to be a dancer.
Wow.
And none of my family did art or whatsoever. So I just, my mom, dad thought, this is so bizarre. A boy to dance? It was just like, it's so, for them, it's just, something that they couldn't understand. But thanks to mum, dad, they were really supportive because they could tell there's so much passion. I was determined. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. So they support me. I think because from early age on, I found my thing. I knew that's my platform.
You're an enigma.
When I was in it, I could tell I have so much confidence. I knew I was good at it. Like I knew I had something special, and that's undeniable. I know in this modern age, and people say, "Oh my God, you sounds like so big-headed."
No.
But speak of the truth, I know that's how I felt.
You're such a breath of fresh air because I think everything that you've mentioned in terms of that mentality, that level of assertiveness of your confidence in what you love, what you want to do, and my favorite part is when you're like, I know I'm good. That absolutely just stomps on the face of like New Zealand tall poppy syndrome. You're just like, I know what I have to offer, and I fully lent into it. And how good that even though your parents might have had like gender biases to like confront themselves with
still to this day.
Till this day, but they supported you through it from the age of 8. That makes me go, my child is almost 2. She could know absolutely what she wants to thrive in 6 years' time. That's quite special. And it makes me go, all right, I need to start saving for her dance classes, whatever it is, right? And I think for me, I mentioned before this podcast was that I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I knew I wanted to tell stories because she got the gift of the gab. Like I love to talk to people. I love talking. I love listening to stories. I love telling stories. I love making up stories. And my background started in dance. Like dance was the thing that took over my life in high school. It feels kind of embarrassing telling you because like you're one of the people that's in the top of your dance sector game. I'm like, I was a passionate hip hop contemporary dancer, and I applied for the scholarships in high school. Didn't get it. That's okay. It's a competitive field.
It is cutthroat business.
So I went to, because I grew up in Ōtautahi, so when my whānau migrated from Pampanga, Philippines to Ōtautahi, Christchurch, I basically, the arts was opened up to me because we migrated. I don't think the arts was available for me or was promoted to me in the Philippines just because our version of academic was so not in the same world that you had just described. Our school hours was also the same. Like I remember I'd wake up at 5 because you had to be at school at 7. But the reason my hours was so long, it was like 7 to 7. It was because when I had like fully lent into your STEM classes, then I threw myself into table tennis, badminton training, dance train. Like, that's what I would do. Like whatever cultural dance performances we had, like I just like being in my body. And for me, the most available thing was sports. It might not seem obvious, but she's quite sporty. But I'm sporty here now, not so much here. Like the tinana just can't. Look, maybe I can. If I say I can, maybe I can. Yeah, so the art wasn't really presented to me until I moved here. And then I felt like I could really explore what it meant to like tell stories with my body. And then when I came to that intersection where I had to decide what to do for uni, I was like, I honestly don't know. The girly in me was like, I'm going to be a forensic scientist because I love NCIS. Like the basic bitch in me was like, I love that drama. It didn't take it wasn't quick for me to dawn that I actually just want to act in those shows, not actually be a forensic scientist. And also I did none of the science degrees that classes that needed to do that. So I was like, she was just a happy dreamer. But then when I applied for Unitec drama, my dance teacher thought I was applying for Unitec dance. But something in my 18-year-old brain that was a little too wise for her years, I think, which I'm really grateful for now, I don't think my body can keep up with my ambitions. as a storyteller. I think I was very quick to go, I know our bodies age, but I know my willingness or my desire to tell stories will remain youthful.
Very wise.
But I don't think my body will remain as youthful as my mind would like to be. So then I went, I'm going to study the craft of storytelling, which I know, however it will happen, will come back to my movement. So that's sort of like my creative whakapapa. It was basically like, I want to know how to tell stories. I'll figure out what mode. I had no idea what mode. Do I want to do film? Do I want to do theatre? Do I want to do puppetry? Do I want to do dance? I genuinely didn't know. I didn't know what I wanted to do, full stop. But I knew I wanted to be in the business of passing down stories.
And how's the experience actually throw yourself into the storytelling world? How's that experience for you?
Honestly, I think I've been a very privileged girly in a way that I found my way into an environment and a space or the city that helped me blossom into that. Because I truly don't think I don't think we'd be sitting on this couch today if I didn't make the brave decision to go, I'm going to leave my whānau in Christchurch and move to Tāmaki to be by myself and explore being an actor and what that means. And I think I've always known that I never just wanted to act. So I think I always opened myself up to endless possibilities. And there's also a little bit of that, I guess, resilience or tenacity in me that goes, the next opportunity that I deserve will come to me. So there was a lot of patience, but in those waiting, I never wasted time. I was always meeting up with people for coffee, wanting to pick their brain, wanting to go, oh, there's a movement workshop here. I will go do that with Gecko Theatre Company because the Arts Festival brought them in. And I'm like, I have no idea what they do, but I'll do it. You know, so I was always keen to absorb. Like I'm a sponge.
Wow.
And then I'm like, that might come useful someday. I don't know when, but I think the biggest thing I tell a lot of my mentees is that you just got to be in the game to do the game.
Yeah.
Whether you're making them coffee, whether you're driving them places, whether you've been invited as an intimacy coordinator or you're actually in the writing room. As long as you're around or in the game, you're playing the game.
I think that mentality helped you tremendously, right? But now you're everything in one. You write, you perform, you act, you're producing, you're a community organizer,
She's
facilitator, she's a leader. Anything else I missed out? There are probably a few other...
I'm a mum now.
There you go.
The biggest creation of my life.
Yeah.
And I think I didn't realize how transforming into the scariest chapter of my like creative transformation, I didn't realize how like make or break it would feel. Does that make sense? Because I remember telling Xin before this, I was like, there were so many parts of me when I gave birth that died. And one of those was definitely the artist in me. Purely because it made me realize to be a good artist, you actually need rest. The amount of time, investment, 100%. And focus that making art requires.
100%. And space around you.
And space. And you know what you don't have when you have a baby? You don't have the rest. You don't got the time. You don't got the space. You know?
No sleep time.
No.
No deep sleep.
There's no time to, you know, when you go, oh, that's a great idea, sleep on it. When do I sleep on it? You know what I mean? So that it really, there were huge parts of my identity as an artist that felt really crushed by the exhaustion of the trenches of being a new mum. But what I realized was the artist in me remained because my mind and my body just organically knew to create in other ways. I was building a new artistic resilience in this new chapter of my life. And it kind of happened in the margins of my sleep at like 3 a.m. I would, you know, being on social media, sharing stories with other mums. I'm writing monologues on my notes. And then I wrote a CNZ funding application for my fellowship grant at like 3 a.m. whilst I was breastfeeding and like red light in the darkness. And I was like, oh, no matter how much I think the artist in me has been put to bed, the artist refuses that.
It's really interesting when you're talking about that, and it reminded me of this tiny little story I want to share with you. You might resonate with it. I used to have this dancer friend. She used to be the principal ballerina of this professional ballet company, and then she retired because she wanted to have a baby, and also she was like suffering with injuries and long-term injuries, and she's like, "Oh, it's time. I need to retire," because normally for ballerina to, the time for their career is quite short, relatively short. So my friend had already mentally given up, and then she went off, had a baby, and then one day, and she just like, "Oh, I feel like I have this urge. I wanna go back to dancing." And she's like, "You know what? I might just do part-time, just purely for her." And then what happened that she didn't realize what's happening is that she told me the knowledge and the experience, the feeling of how to be a best dancer, it's in her mind,
It
right?
remains.
And then she rebuilt her body from scratch again by using the best knowledge. Then she realized, I am better than ever. So she had this rebuild, reconstruction moment happen to her, and then she back to the industry, and she was getting all the jobs, and she was unstoppable. And also her mentality shifted. What happened to her is that before, dance is a cutthroat business, any other industry, but dance is quite competitive because that happens right in front of your eyes. There's 100 dancers in the room, you'll notice, you are better than everyone else. And everyone knows it. Because you can't hide behind your CV things. And then when she was telling me that, I was like, that's incredible, because I will never having the moment realization of giving a birth to another human being and rebuild everything from scratch. That's for me, that's actually it's quite magical and quite amazing to hear someone would have the second opportunity to rebuild their craft.
It's full rebirth moment. And I think the first few months of me integrating myself back into the industry after taking 6 months off, which is, by the way, the first time I've ever taken any sort of break in my adult life. Uni tech, I was working 3 jobs, nannying, bartending, making coffee. Like, I worked, I paid off my student loan. Like,
you're the doer.
Yeah, my summer holidays, no holidays. We gotta pay the rent. Do you know what I mean? So when I took that 6 months off, to be fair, it wasn't a break because I was keeping a human alive with my tits, my entire body, whilst I was recovering from like 7 layers of injury of pulling this human outside of me after 43 hours of hard work, might I add. It ain't for the faint-hearted, Joe. Like, honestly. And every time, I'm getting emotional. Every time I see my girl, I'm like, all of that resilience that I built for myself has like manifested into like a little person. And not just that, but like all of the love, all of the support I've received as a person from my whānau, from my community, has like every cell of that support contributed to this little girl who really challenges me to be like a better version of myself. And I think that's now my next fuel, right? And that rebirth that you're talking about, I remember like on my like maybe 8th month postpartum, where I was juggling, like let me just back it up a bit. I was really worried that I was like, no one's going to hire me. I don't have the time. I'm a new mum. Like, there are other demands in my life now that needs to take priority outside of being able to give voluntary hours to support a collaborative process. So I really discounted myself. I'm really quick at doing that. I don't know why. It's just a toxic thing that I've always had. But I think maybe it's like to soften the rejection of not being selected. I reject myself so I don't have to deal with their rejection. It's a self-protection thing. So then I was like, it's going to be slow. I'm not going to get contracts. I've just finished like one of the most amazing 5-year contracts in my life on TV for 5 years. The stability was insane. It gave me the financial freedom to choose to become a mum. And now not worked for like 9 months. What am I going to do? How am I going to bring money into a household? Because in this economy, you need two people working to survive. But the opposite happened, similarly to what you said. Now people are like, oh, she's a mum now. She's an arts leader. She's in the Asian sector. She has all these skills. I've never had to say no more and really protect my time with my child or my time in my very first like baby season of my life ever, which I can never redo or rewrite. But then I went, non-mum Márianne used to take 7 contracts, and that's hard. So I was like, mum Márianne, she'll only take 4. But then other projects come, so I think I took like 6 anyway. I was exhausted, but I pulled myself through it. And then I went in the midst of, in the dichotomy of like the highs and the lows of being a mum. It really stretches you, it really challenges you. And then I come through that period of my life where I really burnt myself out. I think I'm still burnt out, to be fair. And I went, I honestly, did anyone tell me I can't do anything? Because I will edit your script, I will send those emails whilst I'm feeding my child, and I will shower on the 3rd day if I can, while still making that funding deadline. So I'm like, I honestly, did anyone tell any mums, oh, I don't think you can do that?
Yeah. While you're on that, I want to paint this picture. You were in it. Recently, I experienced my very first pitching work at the Pans. And
How did that go?
just the experience for me is kind of exactly what I expected. But the one thing I didn't expect to see is watching you and Charlie on stage pitching Proudly Asian theatre work, right? And with your baby girl right in front of you. And I think your body, as a dancer, I pick up on the people's body language a lot. So I think that's naturally your body instinct is I need, comfort my child on
Was this
stage.
for my pitch for Te Po?
Oh, for Te Po, sorry.
No,
Sorry,
no.
got
But
wrong.
Chidling, I was also there for Pan. She's a double agent. Yeah.
And your body is rocking. And
Whilst
you're
I'm pitching.
And reading this with 100 presenters sitting there internationally and nationally. It's kind of a quite serious environment, right? It's
Quite
not
tense.
Quite tense. And then, but your knees, your duty, and then your whole thing is stretched into separated for so many different parts. And I was watching that, I was like, how could you make that happen? And with such ease, articulation, a beautiful way of projecting your voice, and because everyone else sound like a little bit shaky.
Everyone's like,
Kia ora
this is my
koutou, my name's
project.
Xin.
Yeah.
The voice is very low. You were full confident.
Oh my God, that's so lovely.
It was beautifully come across, the message, and with the baby right in front of me, I was like, that's incredible.
Yeah, she was strapped in front of me. And I was like, she fell asleep just before I went up on stage. And of course, I knew she was going to wake up as soon as she knew she was in front of a crowd.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting that she'll take. Because inside that, I've never been more nervous. Not because of what I was pitching. I was confident in what we were pitching.
Yeah.
Te Po's work is really good. So I knew what I was pitching was good. What I was nervous about was if I was doing the right thing by like bringing my child into that space. Or that if Emmy at all needed me to be the mum rather than the producer, if I could protect her in that space. Like, because you're constantly living in that duality, right? Like, for her, I'm mum. For everyone else, sure, I'm mum, but I'm also like the pastoral care, the producer, the presenter. I'm the representation. But she only needs me to be one thing. And like when I was on that stage, I was like, if she has a meltdown right now, if she decides she's hungry, do I pull my tit out in front of like all of these delegates and international delegates? And I was always ready to do any of that. And at one point she did pipe up and she decided to speak on the microphone. But I think there was a lot of nerves because I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to be all of that in front of all of these people. When I'm still figuring out how to be all of that. So it's always such a vulnerable space, especially in a society where it's really not built for mums. It's really not built for mums. Like even recently, like balancing the 3 contracts, my mum had to go to the Philippines for my lolo's tangi. I was balancing 3 contracts whilst needing to be a full stay-at-home mum. And I remember reflecting with my husband, I was like, I wish I'd pushed harder to have asked you for at least 1 day off work so you can do the full-time parent thing, and I could have just done the 1 day of full work thing, because I realized in this era of my life, I'm really selfish in a way that, not in the negative way, but in the way that I really need the space for myself. I really need to go do work and go to a space where I know I'm good at, because the motherhood space is a space where I still feel like I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. So in order for me to show up as the best parent, I need to fill my cup, and I need to throw myself into work and come home going, I did all these amazing things, and I can do bedtime, and I can do all the lullabies, because I feel full. I feel fed. But I remember even in those 6 months of just parental leave, I was like, I feel drained. I feel like I sacrificed more than I needed to in order to just be mum. And I realized I can do more than just be mum. But there was that constant guilt of like, I can't be an artist because you just got to be mum. I had to really figure out how to do both. And I think I'm curious to know, in terms of the way you make, what is your natural process of like birthing ideas? Like, what inspires you to make? What's the driving force for you?
I think being a dancer, I always turn into, I always considering I have two brains. One is right up here, and my body
Entire body,
act as one organ, as a second brain. I'll just listen to it. My gut feeling, I always, kind of tell people, I just follow my gut feeling. I try not to rationalize my thoughts. I try not let those voices take over. If I feel right, when I feel the timing's right, I describe it, I can hear that
The
click. Once it's ready, I'll just follow. And that is so easy. But when it's not there, I try not to force, that to happen for the sake of making it. And also creatively, I'm a hoarder. I'm
hoard things.
Accumulating. I document everything. There's so many like voice memos. Oh, help me document this idea. And I've got this, the picture is, in the set, the set design is like this, the lighting mood is this. And then later I listen to it back, oh, that sounds quite interesting. That sounds good. I'm still kind of recycling on that.
Cool.
And if I see a beautiful image, screenshot, I'll take this, I'll take that, I'll take that. It's an accumulation of trying to build my aesthetics bank.
Oh, that's
And then when I build it, there's a second layer to it. And I ask my question, why those images? There are 100 million images out there. Why those? I'm trying to find a commonality in those things. I was like, maybe it's the fabric, maybe it's the color, maybe it's the lighting, maybe it's the vibe. Then it's third layer where those inspiration come from. I'll dig in deep, and then I'll find a core thing why I'm interested in certain things. Once I found those, and also that become my palette.
Takes a life of its own.
Yeah.
So
I don't circling around, jumping in between things. I'm always like, I know what kind of vibe, I know how those things made me feel. I want my audience to feel the same thing. So that kind of limits the range when I'm making. So
gives you that focus, that purpose.
And also I'm like, grow up in the authoritarian limited space. You better be this, follow this, always black and white, and there's always right, wrong. Sometimes it's nice to give yourself a limit.
The parameters.
Yeah.
I agree. Artists thrive on limitations. You know? I think that's why no matter how much funding cuts we get, the artist always finds the avenue to thrive. Because we're like, oh, that's a nice drama to overcome, which sucks because we deserve the funding. We deserve the support.
You deserve it.
But it's almost like they use it against us, that they know that we'll thrive no matter what. We're like cockroaches. We are. You can't.
Unstoppable.
No amount of nuclear bomb, no amount of bug bombs will get rid of us, because at the end of the day, our art form carries the humanity that this world needs.
And that lead me to a question I want to ask you. What do you dream of creating right now?
I was just going to ask you the same question, because that was what I was going to get to with in terms of the work that or how you birth your art. I think for me, I'm still finding it, but I think that right now, because I think I think people or art is a living document. It will continue to evolve. But I think for me right now, where my heart is on, because I'm so focused on like the desire or the need to preserve my language to like my multicultural child, I honestly think I just want to be, the art I dream of making is a world where I know my child will never have to question her existence.
Can I ask, when you're talking about the multicultural for your child, can you
expand on that?
Yeah, for the viewer.
Oh, yes.
So they'll know how multicultural you're talking about.
Yes, very multicultural. And I'm really, it's something I really take pride in. It was never like a mission, like I have to find a multicultural partner. That was never it. I fell in love with a beautiful Chinese Mauritian hunk fella who's now my husband. So yeah, my daughter is Chinese Filipino, has whakapapa in Mauritius, has whakapapa in the Philippines, but is growing up in Aotearoa. So right now we're trying to raise her in a very multilingual lifestyle. Yeah. So whenever she's with her papa, they call it all French Creole. When she's with my mama, they call it all Kapampángan, Tagalog. And between the three of us adults in the house, then English, comes through. But because I work at one of the leading Māori theatre companies, when we're doing Reo Māori classes, I also bring her along when I can, or I'm bringing my learning back home. So she's counting isa, de, toru, like, and so that's
wow.
I think for me, I want her to continue being able to thrive in that kind of environment. So I think the work I dream of making right now really includes her. So I think my art is really eager to dive into kids theatre, but which I also love. One of my favorite roles I love to play is like kids. There's such freedom in playing a child character, the curiosity, the youthful energy. I'm like, it's fun. Yeah. It's not like you're serious drama filled, but there's drama in that too, but the playfulness I really love. So like, I think that's an avenue I really dream of diving deeper into. But the other thing I'm working on, which Xin might be working with me on, is I got my CNZ fellowship to finally finish continue developing and hopefully finish my Kapampángan solo theatre show, which is a work that I've been trying to write for the last 5 years since I've been, in TV land. But I never found the missing piece until I became a mum. Because there's a sense of urgency with this work, because Kapampángan is a dying language. I mean, this is a whole podcast on its own as to why Kapampángan language is disappearing. In the Philippines, we're taught in either Tagalog or in English, right? So a lot of the other ethnic languages are dying because those two languages have become the national or the main mode of teaching. So even Kapampángan kids don't kōrero in Kapampángan, they kōrero Tagalog or in English. So it makes me really sad when I come home and I'm like hungry to just like hear my mother tongue, and I'm met with, I want to impress you and I'm going to speak English with you. And I'm like, no, please speak to me in Kapampángan. And as I shared with you, I only know one Kapampángan song, and it's the only song I can successfully put my child to sleep with, which is Ating Kupong Sing Sing. And the urgency for me when I was writing this funding application, it was because I wanted to be able to pack the show in a suitcase and travel it, because I think language should be accessible. I think people should have the ability to access their culture, and language is the most alive form to do that. And the reason Xin comes into the fold is that I want to learn how to embody the language. And I'm going through a phase where I'm trying to meet this new body. So I'm really interested to know, like, in your practice, have you ever had a disconnection, or have you ever experienced what it's like to not be connected with your body, especially being your body is your instrument?
The answer is no.
The confidence.
Well, one thing, it's a really privilege for dancers to have is that, when the people talking about the meditation and doing certain things, that, oh, you're heading in that flow state. It sounds quite wishy-washy, sounds quite like, what does that even
What do
mean?
you mean?
Thing. But when you dance, and naturally you're human, your brain shut off, because everything you operate on the senses of your body, right? You experience it through pain, limitation, the flexibility. You can only work with what you have because your body is so honest. So when you head in that state, and it's almost the humanity side that gets shut down, you're really forced to feel. And I love that feeling. That's one thing I really support me. It's almost, people talk about that, you practice. I think I almost put practice second. I put that feelings first.
Wow.
I need to be able to connect with myself. Then I ask them, does that feel right? When I'm making it. Sometimes your body tell you, it's like you're trying to do something that you think what people expect you to do. I always talking to my dramaturg, Nathan Joe, incredible genius.
Genius.
And we're always talking about what
we don't deserve Nathan Joe.
National treasure.
Yes.
And we're always talking about if this is honest or not. When you're making, there's so many ideas, right? The creativity can flow. So many ideas can come out, but then it's only test through my body. I know what's honest, what's not. So for that, I always try to connect with that. It's almost an ability I don't want ever let it go. So every day to be able to have that, if I'm not dancing today, if I'm having a day off, and I'll just go for a swim.
Still
and
in
I'll
your
just
body.
still in the body, and I'll force myself walking on the street. I'll force myself walk a little bit faster, and it's like when you walk on the street and when they see people walking around you, and I'll just chuck a little trick and say, how could I gracefully walk around you with a bit of a speed up? Things
I
that,
love that.
those moments I try to keep in contact with my embodiment.
How spiritual would you say you are, and how does that impact your creative practice?
I think that the previous word we're talking about the embodiment, I treated that as my spirituality, and I just trust my body and trust this body and knows so much better than me. It's much smaller being. Like, yes, if the people know me, they know how OCD I am and how control freak I am. But then every time making decisions, I let my body take over. So I know I'm much smaller than the other things.
The bigger things at hand.
The bigger things, yeah. How about you?
I would say more and more I've become more spiritual because I think I've learned same thing that you're mentioning in terms of the idea of control. I'm a Leo. I like to.
My rising's Leo, so.
Yeah, you get.
Yeah.
It's like I'm the kind of person that thrives in structure and instruction. I love being directed, but there are certain things you cannot control. And I think the moments I really feel myself thriving healthily is when I let the bigger powers take control. And I think the more I've relinquished control in that way and accept that the things that actually will matter in my life will not actually be controlled by me. And leaning into the idea of, the right opportunity will never pass me by. And for me, that's me going, the sis out there who's got my back will never let me down. So I think, and I also think in the tangible life-threatening moments I've had, where, for example, like when I was 7 weeks hapu and I thought I was going to lose my baby, I had an ovarian torsion. My ovary twisted the same day we had our first scan of Emmy. I thought I was losing my baby. And I didn't realize how spiritual I was until that moment when I called my mom, I called my sis Alyssa, and I was like, I'm struggling right now because I realize I don't know how to pray. And that was a really confronting realization as a person who grew up in a Catholic household but never really practiced Catholicism. But I realized the only thing I needed right now, I'm no longer in control. my body needs to do something that I can't do anything about, I went, pray for me. I don't know who the fuck you're going to pray to, but pray for me, because I don't even know how to. So I think that was a really big wake-up moment for me to go, when I didn't know what to do with my practice, when I didn't know how to look after myself or my child, I was going, as long as we're doing the bare minimum, feeding, sleeping, all the things, someone else got us. And I think that's the same with like how all of my collaborations have happened. The right people will come to me, the right people will reject me, so I can find my way to the right people who will embrace my purpose. So yeah, like in that way I would say, yeah, super spiritual, which is a gift, I would say. Finish these sentences.
Great.
I'm in flow when.
Dancing.
Such a man of few words. I'm inspired by
The people who are really passionate about something that they're interested in. No matter what you're passionate about, as long as I can see the passion from that person.
It's sexy too, eh? I'm like, dang.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, I'm like, oh, you love fixing dishwashers. That's,
Yeah.
you do you, boo.
The vibration will really get to you. Like, oh, I felt that. That was really honest.
Yeah. Finish the sentence. I'd love to be known for.
A yet to come. Yeah. I don't know yet.
It's a hard question, eh? That's like, it's like, I'm going to win the Oscars for. I don't know.
Yeah. Overall score.
Yeah.
Can I ask you the same
Of
question?
course.
I'm in flow when?
I feel honest.
Yeah. You are a very honest person.
I'm a very honest person.
You are a very honest person.
Heart on my sleeve. Like, if I was ever to be on Celebrity Treasure Island, I'll be that bitch that is crying every single episode. Just because I'm like, this is too hard. I'm winning. I'm hungry. I don't want to eat beans anymore. I will just be too honest for my own good, which is a strength and a weakness, I would say, which I think is it's a good sensibility to have.
I think that honesty really, I get a benefit from it. And it's just quickly something get out of my mind is that every time when I'm on Instagram, I think your content is the only content I felt like human for real quick. Because often when you talk about, before you mention the vulnerability, that is true vulnerability. And that's the one of the moments that really, regardless that's on internet, on social media, but I really felt I can resonate with your feelings and stuff. That was something really special.
That honestly means a lot to me, because I find social media is such a whack void. And to be honest, the times I've really been involved in my social media, especially during my 6 months postpartum, it's purely driven not just by, but it was mainly loneliness. I had no one to talk to. My husband was out doing the work, doing Lord's work to fucking keep the household and the bills paid. But it was because I'm such a talker, I can't talk to the baby. The baby's like this, can barely hold her head up. But it's my way of therapy.
Yeah.
If I can't talk to anyone, I'll talk to myself. And she knows how to work the camera. And I'm like, and the biggest drive for me there was, I knew there were other mums who...
And non-moms.
Or just people who just needed the support. Whatever that is that needs to be filled in their void.
And just to get reminded other people going through life.
Yeah.
Such as life. And next one, I'm inspired by.
Right now, my daughter. I'm really inspired by Emmy. To the point sometimes it really breaks my heart, because I feel like the amount of inspiration she gives, I don't think I can fully give back to her. Like, it's really interesting. Like, as a kid, I've grown to go, I really want to make my mum proud. I really want to make my parents proud. I really want them to be happy with what I'm doing. That people pleasing thing that I've got. I just want them to know that I'm worth their sacrifices or their time. But now as a mum, I'm going, I really want to make her proud. I really want her to go, the life is going to be so hard. but you can really make it what you want it to be, and I want to make her proud. And she doesn't even know this. She's just like, vegetable.
Well,
You
she
know, like-
will later, years later, and then when she jump on
When she hears
YouTube,
this,
and she's like,
yeah.
"Whoa, Mum was talking about
I
me."
think that's something that I've been really surprised by. It's just like we go through this like thing of, I don't know where the switch happens, you know, when you're like, you're so hard to please and do good by your parents, when actually now I'm looking at it, my parents were just trying to do all the things for me. It's an interesting cycle of love that sometimes we sometimes use for bad when it should be for good. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
And last, I'd love to be known for
Being soft in the inside and crispy in the outside. You know, like
Yeah.
I want to be known for my honesty, and I want to be known for people's desire to work with me, because they know I will hold them with love and challenge them with integrity.
Yeah.
Like that's what I want. I don't want to be known for a specific work. I want to be known for my mode of holding people. That's what I want to be known for. Because I think work will come and go.
Yeah.
But like the feeling you give people is what will remain. Like, you know, when people are doing a eulogy about you, they're not going to go, here's her accolades, here's her credits. No, they're going to go, this is how they made me feel. This is what, you know, like I'll miss about them. This is the things I'll see in other people that will make me remind me of them. That's the bit I care about the most.
At least right now, I can add one as your generosity for me. Yeah.
Shochin. And yours. It takes one to know one. And I really respect this generous selfishness that you've taught me in this conversation and outside of this conversation, that you really, you should never be apologetic for looking after yourself, because it only means you can look after other people even better.
Yeah, for sure. You got to look after yourself, especially I tell my students, you only have one body. You better eat something nice and drink water and have a good sleep. Look after yourself first, and then you have the capacity and the space to give to others.
Would you consider yourself an emotionally intelligent person?
Yep.
The confidence in this man, I love. Makes me love you more. Like, okay, great. My second one is, because you're so in tune to your body, you listen to your body. And I say this as someone who's got like gut problems. Because you listen to your gut and your body so well, do you get sick often? Or are you so good at going, I need to rest, I'm going to rest my ass down?
Yes and no. Yes and no.
What does that mean?
It's almost quite addictive. Like I want to be so in tune. I want to listen to all of it, right? But then sometimes it's my rational kick in. Oh, you better, turn that down a little bit. It's nice to switch out of it. Enjoy the life you're living in. Enjoy the thing, and not necessarily, because sometimes it's too much. And you live in the life and you're seeking for the inspiration. Ooh, what should I listen now? Like, what's being in this room? Are there anything I can take from it? And sometimes it's just nice to chill out, Xin. It doesn't need to be creative life and
all the time.
Yeah.
Rather than making, you can just let the making happen in front of you, rather than forcing.
Yeah, and I think sometimes that makes me a very serious person. I'm also sussing out what's happening in the room.
Always, And I think something we talked about in the cafe before this is that we both know we can do hard things, and being in the creative industry is a hard life. But the thing that should never disappear is that joy.
Yeah.
Because if you're just doing hard things and not having fun, you might as well be just hitting yourself in the face. Like, that's probably better for you, right? Because I'm like, I love putting myself through challenges with fun, with laughter, with joy. Because then you're like, it buffers the artistic pain. Because you should never work in pain.
No.
But there's always going to be hardships. And I think that's something I would, for any young artist that ever listens to this kōrero, is that, like, you have to accept that this lifestyle is difficult, but we should always have the ability to feel safe to do the hard and uncomfortable things, because that's where the stories are.
Totally.
So yeah.
quickly the two questions back to you. The first question you asked me, which is, are you emotionally intelligent person?
Yes.
Cool. Great.
Sometimes
You
too
are.
intelligent that I double down on myself.
Yeah.
I almost do the emotional intelligent thinking for other people that I'm like, I should just stay in my lane and worry about myself. I would say yes, I am.
Of course, yeah.
Thanks.
The second question is, please remind me if I remember.
Do I get
right.
sick often?
Yep.
I do, because I'm bad at listening to my gut. I've got chronic gastritis, which what happens is my gastritis flees when I'm stressed. So I'm really bad at, I really push myself to the limits, and I'm only really now learning how to better listen before the stress gets too much, and then my whole body shuts down.
It's funny you're talking about you're struggling with a gut problem, because for this entire session my stomach's giggling the whole time. Yeah, hopefully if you hear something like a weird noise, that's my stomach. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. Thank you so much. That was good.
Yay!